Hello, YouTubers. We are coming to you right now from downtown Fort Fairfield, the great headquarters of Shepherd's Flock Ministries, my living room. And I just wanted to touch base with you and let you know that our channel is out there, that you should come in and take a listen to some of the messages. I think you're going to find them uplifting, that we are here in Maine trying to do something for the communities, trying to help folks find a way to God and be encouraged. And I want to talk for a second about the fight we're in. It's in the centuries old spiritual warfare, and we know that. But here in the area, we're in a multitude of battles, not the least of which is one designed to separate us from each other, to separate churches from within. The biggest battle that we face is right here in our mind. Everything that we've been up against is something that targets the way we think, the way we act, and the way we respond. And Satan knows that we as human beings are very emotional. What's been happening in the country has been rooted in emotion. The media has been playing our emotions. We've become a society of headline head cases, I like to call them, where you read a headline and you react and you get shocked and you get awed and you get angry, whatever you do, and you leap into reaction based on what you've just read, that little blurb. They never give you the full story in the news or the newspapers. They try to flood you in the news, in fact, with as many headlines as possible, get you going all these different directions, everything from the coronavirus, which in my opinion is, while it's dangerous, while it's a situation that needs to be watched, it's nothing compared to annual influenza. The fact that we have these viruses erupt every election year ought to tell you something. If it's not Ebola or SARS or bird flu, it'll soon be hoof and mouth disease, or something else will come out of somewhere. And so you get into these battles with your mind to see the headlines try to drive you into a certain area of thinking. It's always negative against Trump, the president of the United States, duly elected, whether you like him or not. It's always negative against the narrative that they want the president of the United States, duly elected, whether you like him or not. It's always negative against the narrative that they want to drive into your head. It's always negative against you turning that narrative on its ear and saying, I don't want to listen to this stuff anymore. I want to know more about it. Not the real issues. If you had a watch on your wrist, this watch, for example, works with certain mechanical elements to it. And if you didn't understand how the watch works, you wouldn't care as long as the watch told you time. Now, if it doesn't tell you time, you get frustrated with it. You have to try and find out what's wrong. And if you don't know how it works, you may not know how to fix it. Some folks might not know that a battery needs to be put into it, or there's jewelers that are out there to fix your watch for you. And it's the same thing with spiritual work. When we're trying to build a church, the devil's going to first attack the weak-minded. He's going to attack those that don't have any faith, those that are trying to come out of their situation by what they hear, what they know, and what they see on TV. Televangelism and televangelists have damaged the United States in ways I can't even begin to tell you. Listening to a televangelist on TV and getting that little bit of thing, well, they're just encouraging, you'll say. Well, they just mean to uplift you, they'll say. No, they are sowing within you the seeds of destruction, because underneath all that is a false doctrine, a false theology. And they sow that false theology into your mind, whether you know it or not. And it's called subliminal programming. It's something that MK Ultra was used to do. It's something that is going on right now. The movies are doing it. The television's doing it. They're all working together to develop a narrative and get that into your mind so that you, without even knowing it, are being programmed. And this programming is insidious because it settles into your spirit and it doesn't allow you to go further than what you're being taught. I always instruct our people here in Maine. I always try to instruct our church, go beyond what you're being taught. Learn for yourself. Open that Bible. Pray that prayer. Get into the Word of God for yourself, because if you don't, you'll never know that what we're teaching is right or wrong. You'll never know that what you're hearing on TV is right or wrong until you get into it for yourself. And never study to prove yourself right, my friend. There's too many scriptures that are going to support any theology. Too many things out there going to support any point of view. All you got to do is change channels on your cable news networks. You know, uh, constantly negative news or constant BS or any of those other alphabet headlines out there, any of those alphabet news sources out there are going to just give you enough to tweak your emotions so that you go dancing off into a direction they want you to dance off into. We're not trying to do that here at Shepherd's Flock APC. We're not trying to do it here in Prescott Island, indicating that it happened anywhere else in this country. In fact, we're standing up right now and trying to tell you that despite who you follow, despite what you think, if you are not getting into the Word of God for yourself and praying for yourself, you are already lost. We're in a fight, my friends. I'll tell you how it goes. Our car broke down this morning, couldn't get to church. Texted to some folks, hoping to get a ride to church. They couldn't do it because they're already subjected to a schedule. Other folks didn't contact us in time, so we canceled service. Well, that happens. That's what's going to happen. It's frustrating, but all of a sudden we found that was the message we want to preach at the church, so let's just put it out here. And you can see for myself right now that, I'm not angry or frustrated. I'm concerned for the things that are happening to people that don't have an awareness of the fact that they're being manipulated through emotion. We can't allow that to happen. I'm urging you to call this off. Call off head case mentality. Get away from emotion. If you're emotional, take a step back and say, Lord, you've got this in your hand. Hey, God knew our car was going to break down before it did. We're just letting people know. We're just letting people know. We hadn't even spoken to anybody this morning in terms of what was happening to us. Nobody even called us to check on us. Now, I was raised differently. If my pastor needed something, I was there. I was an armor bearer mentality. I don't have that in our group right yet, but we're getting there. I've never seen so many adults go through so many changes as I'm seeing in this latter time, but it really is testament to where we are as a nation. It's a testimony to where we are as a nation, a microcosm of head casing. It's time to get past all these headlines, my friends. Stop thinking for them and stop letting them think for you. Donald Trump isn't evil. A lot of things that he does are very good. He has signed executive orders to put over 7,000 sex traffickers in jail, including Republican and Democrat politicians. The Pope, Francis, who constantly speaks against him, over 6,000 names of priests, bishops, and cardinals who have been involved in pedophilia and sex trafficking. And because of that, 2 of those cardinals were arrested and are in jail. President Trump has given us executive orders that have put prayer back in school, that has allowed us to see prisoners come out of undeserved prison sentences. The First Step Act is giving prisoners the opportunity to come out of jail, 90% of which are African American. The 3 top advisors in President Trump's cabinet, not 3 of the top, but the 3 top are women. So he's obviously not a misogynist. Ben Carson's the head of HUD. He's obviously not a racist. So these things are being driven by emotion. We had a discussion last night about what would happen if Bernie Sanders is robbed of the nomination, which he will be. The Democrats can't tie their horse to a socialist and lose with him to Donald Trump. It'll drag the entire Democrat Party down for the next 20 years. So they're going to rob a socialist of his well-deserved nomination. In my opinion, he's well-deserved because the people are following him. Why are they following him? Because Yuri Bezmenov told us the Soviet Union would brainwash our young people, and they have done that. Even facts don't matter to the young people anymore, unless you start thinking for yourself and break away. I don't even watch network news. Did you know that? I don't even watch network news anymore. I go to about 100 separate different websites to get news articles verified so that I can understand not only what is being said, but why it's being said. Justice Sotomayor came out against her own co-justices on the SCOTUS, saying that they had an affinity for President Trump. They leaned toward President Trump. And I thought, boy, that's strange for a justice to come out against her fellow justices. You never heard of that before. Why did it happen? Well, when I began to dig into why it happened, I discovered something. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals reversed 2 Trump rulings and set them up for being taken to the Supreme Court. All right, they blocked him on MPP, which they have suddenly suspended that block. And the other one had something to do with Mexicans as well, had something to do with illegal. The fact that Trump said if you come through any other port of entry, you were going to be denied any public services. And so they blocked him on that. So we know that from that blocking, from the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, it will go to the Supreme Court. And I thought, my goodness, there it is. An activist justice spoke out in advance of 2 cases coming before the Supreme Court in the hopes of skewing those judgments. Because, of course, if they're supporting Trump, well, then it just proves she was right. No, it doesn't. It proves that they want to skew the belief system of this country from Nancy Pelosi to the justices that are supporting their ideology down into the Senate, into the House, into the FBI, into the DOJ, into the NSC, into the media. The swamp is deep. These things are happening in front of our very eyes. Why? Because we fell into headline head casing. We allowed headlines to dictate our emotions. That's the battle we're in. And it goes right to church. Why did I sound like I'm rambling? Because it goes right back to church. The devil is behind all of this. Satan is the little god of this world. He is the little god of this earth. And he has dictated all of these things to these little people that are running after him. So from high atop our foundation at Meadowbrook, we let you know these things. In front of the black snowball microphone of Shepherd's Flock APC, we're talking to you. Open your eyes, open your prayer life, open your understanding. Don't settle for being taught. Learn, my friends. Learn. It's not too late. You can do this if you try. Millions have done it before you. There's a great awakening taking place. People are coming into the truth. Donald Trump is already impeached for something that didn't even hold water, and he was impeached from 2016, the first day he was elected. They were going to impeach him. So it was totally unconstitutional and unfair, and here they go again. Jerry Nadler is stepping in and said I'm going to go get the justices, these prosecutors for Roger Stone, who was put in jail for lying, not for anything Trump did. But why are they doing it? To go after Trump again in another endless attack. And you've got people going, oh, why? Why should every single decision made by other people be attributed to Donald Trump? AG Bill Barr said he was already going to ask for more lenient sentencing guidelines because 7 to 9 years was ridiculous. No one in the history of lying to Congress has ever been put in jail for 7 to 9 years. It's ridiculous. Eric Holder, who was held in contempt, the only AG to be held in contempt in this country's history, didn't even go to jail for being held in contempt about something that caused the death of over 300 people, including our brave Border Patrol agent, Terry. So unplug, my friends. Get away from all this stuff and start hearing the real voices that are fighting with you. It's Satan. It's good versus evil. It's not right versus left. It's not conservative versus libertarians. It's not Republican versus Democrat. It is literally good versus evil, right versus wrong. And I urge you to keep that in consideration as we go forward. We're going to start doing some teachings on the end times, on the things that we're facing. We've thought about those things. We've got the elements put together. We're going to start doing teaching series on that. You're going to see more videos coming out from Shepherd's Flock APC and also on Facebook. But I would urge you, get a hold of our Twitter feed. We are Trump 2020 at MNetto. Get a hold of our Facebook page, Shepherd's Flock, and follow us there. You'll find 2 different trains of thought, political spiritual, because we can do all these things. We are human beings capable of independent thought. We can produce political information and satirical information while still being spiritual. You don't have to sin to do either one. Amazingly. So get involved. Listen to what we're trying to say to you. Let God bless you. Hope this helps you. Have a great day. And we'll try to end this stream on a good note. God bless.